Hello ancient world people, and welcome back to Piece of the Week, episode 7. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Ushabti figures, or Shabti, or quite simply Shabti figures, or Ushabti, or Shabti, depending on which part of the world you are sitting in, or standing. So, I have a few pieces coming back into the shop this week that haven't been there for a while, so it's time to revisit them. And one particular one I'm so pleased with. It's technically should be a keeper, but I have one already, so I'm happy to shush it away. And one lucky person will get that piece. It's going to be going to auction on eBay, and some of the other ones will go into the downunderpharaoh.com store. There's just a few. I mean, I have had hardly any Shabtis all year, so it's time to build the army again. And the one I'll share with you first is this one here. This is the best one. It's from the time of Amenhotep III. It's a replica of a private statue.
Look at those lovely indentations to describe where the legs are. Exquisite modelling of the face and hands. And boy, the colours are just so authentic. And look at this wonderful necklace it wears. You see the proportions, the symmetry. It's just fabulous.
Something I noticed about this Ushabti figure was how similar it was to figures that were from the tomb of Yuya and Thuya. Now, the figures that were found in that virtually intact tomb back in 1905 have similar body contours and depth of hieroglyphics on the surface of the body of the Shabti. So I would suggest this figure here is of the same workshop, the same people who made those figures made this one. There's just peculiar traits in it that I noticed. And it's very tragic to know what happened to the Shabtis of Yuya and Thuya. Some of them were taken to the Metropolitan Museum. Thankfully, they're safe. But 11 of them were stolen in the break-in in the Cairo Museum in 2011, along with my favourite Shabti of Hat and various other Amarna statues and late period bronzes, and Tutankhamun's harpoon statue shattered, his trumpets, his fans. So many precious items were damaged and stolen. And among those, these Yuya and Thuya Shabtis. Thankfully, one of them was returned, allegedly found in a bag near a train station, I think. And we were lucky to have that one back. But there are 10 still on the loose, running around out there. And I hope that they return. Some of the ones that that were in the case at the same time the others were stolen are quite damaged as well. There's a great big gouge in one of the gilded ones. It's just so unnecessary and unfair. I mean, it's thousands of years they've lasted, and then in a flash they're gone, destroyed, lost, uncared for, and it's just not on. So let's have a look at this Shabti in more detail. I really, really hope you're going to like this one. It's going to be popped into eBay, I think, for auction. It has an almost wood grain to it. It's one of my composition stone pieces, but the details are quite fine. I've put some patterns in the handbags at the front. They're actually seed bags, not handbags. They're not Oroton. They're little seed bags that would have been used in the afterlife to spread the seeds and grow the crops. In the later periods, the seed bags were thrown over the back shoulder, so you'd be carting it into the fields. This was a stylistic trend in the late 18th dynasty that phased out eventually. He's very good, and he's got his little hose to dig the fields.
Hose? You might want to consider calling it an adze. You don't want people getting it mixed up with a fireman's hose. Or some streetwalker, for that matter. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just not the right word.
You can just see him tilling away. And that's the job of the Shabti, isn't it? Chapter 6 of the Book of the Dead, inscribed upon it. To magically come to life and till the fields of Osiris. Because everybody wanted to be with Osiris when you died. That was the Egyptian concept of heaven. Date palms, always laden, grapes, endless amounts of food and cool lotus pools and fish, and there was no internet, so they had a concept of nature and the stars and the air.
Speaking of air, it's time for a commercial break, and we'll be back with these messages after these messages, or something. Well, we'll be back after these messages, that's right. Oh boy, I've got this awful itching and I can't quite scratch it. So, yes, if you'd like to see some more videos with some interesting content of the ancient flavours, then please hit the subscribe bell or button, all of that. I'm Beryl Whittaker and I'm very tired.
Check this out. What a cover shot. What a gorgeous Shabti that one is. Oh yeah. What catalogue is this? Oh, it's a London Antiquities catalogue. Jeez, it's Christie's. Hey, Christie. What a stunner of an example. So much workmanship in that. They really are great. It's a nice one, isn't it? Crude.
Crude but valuable. Piner gem or pinner gem.
19th Dynasty. It's great for Shabtis, this book.
Oh yeah.
Better get one of these in your library. Ancestor busts are great!
Now we'll return you to your regular programming.
I really haven't had a lot of Shabtis available this year. It's just not been my focus. So I have been trying to remedy that. I've heard your call and I am doing some more Shabtis. So we'll be doing Cabochon next. Now, this is the Prince Cabochon, the side lock of youth you can see on the side of the head, indicating youth, or subordinate to the king himself, which was Ramses the Great, his father, who lived on and on and on and outlived Cabochon. So this king to be just didn't happen, and he would have been a great king. He was a magician, and he was very, very much into the cult of the Apis bull, and established the Serapeum in a major way. It was him that had the power in Memphis in particular. He was definitely being primed for great things, and it's such a shame that he didn't make it. But we're blessed to have quite a number of his figurines, and statues for that matter as well. One of them in conglomerate stone is a marvel, and I don't know why they chose it. It's so multicolored and it's magical. Well, that's why they chose it. It's quite an amazing statue to look at. Embedded stones inside it, because it's a sedimentary stone, pressurized over millions of years. That's what conglomerate is. I use it all the time in my carvings as a bashing stone, and everyone's different, but I've got particular ones that have a lot of quartz in it. So it's very strong, even though it is a sedimentary stone, it's effectively. Oops, Shabti down. Okay. Now, this other one is coming back too. I haven't quite finished. I haven't made the stands for the Kaimwa set or this one, which is King Aspelta of the Nubian kingdoms, simultaneous to the northern kingdoms after the 25th dynasty of Pianki and Taka.
Don't forget Shabaka.
Yeah, the short-lived, 90-year era of the 25th dynasty and the Nubian kings. They retreated back to Meroe and Napata. Jebel Barkal was, the cult centre, that amazing mountain with the serpent in it. There's like a carving of not a carving, it's a natural feature of a uraeus, a cobra. And if you have a National Geographic from 1989, I think it is, you'll see this revealed to you, how they thought that the cobra lived in the mountain. Oh, I don't have that here to show you. I'd whip that out now and you would see that magnificent issue of the National Geographic that opened up the whole southern kingdoms of Kush to me. I fell in love with that in that period. I haven't been there. It would be great to see all those pyramids at Meroe and Napata. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, this is Aspelta. Now, a peculiar thing is the spell that's written on these Shabtis. They're quite large. It's the tallest one I've got in the collection. And they're not as fine as, say, Tutankhamun's, but they're still up there. They're elegant. They still have the two adzes to till the fields. But here we have a uraeus to show he is king, and his name in the Cartouche here, Aspelta. I love that name. It's very good. Aspelta. It's like asphalt or asphalt, but Aspelta. I mean, who calls their kids that these days? But yeah, he's got a good profile there too, if you have a look at that. See how the back arches in, the butt sticks out. That's just long and elegant. It's awesome. And there's a seed bag on the back. As I mentioned earlier, there is a tendency for later Shabtis to have the seed bag on the back, out of harm's way, and I think it was a design trait really, because they wanted to concentrate on the implements that they were holding rather than just the handbags. Very good Shabti. He's coming back. He'll hopefully have the stand finished tomorrow, and I'll pop him in the shop. He hasn't been available for months, and the other one the same. So that is this week's piece of the week, but I will show you some of my other Shabtis that I have along the way, some of the different varieties, and I'll do a proper Shabti special that will track through the whole collection perhaps. Certainly the oldest Shabti I ever made is, I haven't seen since 1986. That makes me heritage listed, yes, I know. But that's how it was. I made this Shabti for my goldfish Shadera, and it was in sandstone, and I buried it in my first pyramid. It was a couple of meters high, and it collapsed, and it's just now a glorified mound of stone that hasn't been opened since then, and I'm itching to go up and see that. It'd be great. We should have a film it and dig it up. I mean, it's a pretty modest burial, but that Shabti is what I really, really want to see, because it's such an early sculpture. And the progression as you go along when you're learning to make these things. I made them out of clay, I made them out of various different stones, and I've got most of those. They're all hideous, but you can see with each successive one, I was learning different things, getting better and better. I found one today actually from late 90s, I think, or around the 90s. Actually, it's probably older, I don't know, I haven't got a date on that one. Yeah, it was never finished, so you can see how I made them back then, just by finding these little fragments. Thanks for watching Piece of the Week, and I'll see you next time. I don't know what form I will be in, or who will take over my body to communicate whatever it is that's going to come out. And I thank Janosch, Lady Janosch, the bearded lady, for taking the reins there for a while, and Reginald Eddie Parslow with his poetry. They're all one and the same, but they come from a good place. You just never know what you're gonna get. It's the theory of Forrest Gump. I don't know. I don't know. And of course, if you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe, hit the ding-a-ling bell, the notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.